Hello, Bucks fans. Welcome back to Real Bucks Talk, and hope you guys are having a great holiday week as we have Christmas coming up. And hope every one of you have a very Merry Christmas. With that said, the Buccaneers didn't give us the Christmas present that we wanted, as they literally fumbled this one away and lost control of the NFC South. The Buccaneers lose to the Cowboys 26-24. Just too many mistakes, especially on offense, and then mistakes on defense as well. Just not enough throughout 4 quarters of football. And it's funny that the Buccaneers actually had their probably best second quarter of the year, as they ended up scoring 14 points in that quarter. But the problem was the Cowboys got 23 in the first half. And a lot of that was due to just the offense couldn't get things going. They went for it on fourth down on their first drive, and then that was incomplete due to the guy, Sterling Shepard, dropping the football. And what that led to is the Cowboys going down and scoring a touchdown to go up 10-0, and right away you're in a hole, or in a predicament where you have to play catch up. And it's been tough sledding for the Buccaneers trying to do that throughout this season. I believe they are 8-1 when they score first, and they're 0-6 when they do not. So obviously that played a part, but it was just a very inconsistent on both sides, and that it has been the Buccaneers, hence the 8-7 record. They just can't seem to put things together for 4 quarters, and it happened again in this one. They had opportunities in the fourth to take the lead, but you had an interception, a ball that probably should have been caught by Jalen McMillan. It got stripped away, leading to a turnover. There was some sacks and some poor decisions by Baker Mayfield that kept the Buccaneers out of field goal range, that could have put more points on the board for their team. And it's just those little things that you just can't do, whether it's dropping passes, not identifying where the pressure is coming from as a unit, and, just being better of being consistent and staying ahead of the chains, avoiding those negative plays. And the negative plays just happen too much in this game, whether it be penalties on the offensive line or Baker Mayfield holding on to the football too long. You have to get rid of it within the structure of the offense and just move on to the next play. Trying to, kind of stay on that play a little bit too long for the hopes of getting a bigger gain or a bigger play down the field. Those things have to be eliminated. And you just, when it works, it's awesome. But when you're facing a defense that has a good pass rush, they've been getting after the quarterback of a late, especially with Micah Parsons back. And what's the other thing they do very well? They force turnovers. They find ways to, take the football away. And they did that on the interception. And then also the last drive of the game, where the Buccaneers had an opportunity to go down the field and kick a field goal to win it. Rashad White catches a ball from Baker Mayfield as he is basically being sacked. He finds a way to get the ball to Rashad, and Rashad just doesn't protect the football enough and literally gets it ripped away from him as he's going down to the ground. But, interesting game. I mean, offensively, again, a lot of mistakes, and this is the big number right here, the 4 sacks for 27 yards. Now, not all of that was Baker Mayfield's fault. Some of it was O-line, some of it was Baker. But at the same time, if a play is leaning dead, you just either have to throw the ball in the dirt or throw it out of bounds. He's just got to do a better job of eliminating these sacks, because it is hurting the team when you get pushed back. And I think there was a stat where it's like you can't the offense usually doesn't score when you have a sack on the drive. So, and that was case in point in this game, on Sunday night. It was just not the start you're looking for. Offensively, there were some good things with Bucky Irving, obviously rushing the football well. Bucks had to kind of get away from that because of their deficit and trying to, play catch up. So they had to be in passing mode for most of the second half. And then, defensively, the biggest issue for me is just how comfortable they allowed Cooper Rush to be in the first half, and he was just doing basic things, staying within the structure of the offense. He didn't take sacks, as you see here, only one sack on the day. And then CD Lamb pretty much had his way. He was 7 of 8. He had 7 catches on 8 targets, 105 yards. He was the one guy that you needed to find a way to limit or contain, and the Buccaneers just couldn't do it. And there was just too much where their offense was just moving the ball at will, getting into field goal range pretty easily. And it helps when you have a kicker like they do in Brandon Aubrey, who he made 58 yarders twice. So if it's any other opponent, most likely those kicks don't go in. But the way kickers are nowadays, they're pretty much automatic, especially from 50 yards plus. Most of them are. So yeah, I mean, he was outstanding getting those field goals in for the Cowboys, but yeah, just not enough on both sides of the ball. Special teams as far as the return game had its struggles. So there was just a lot of up and downs. I mean, just got to be better. But with that said, you kind of figured if there was going to be a game where the Buccaneers lost one, it was either going to be the Chargers or potentially this Cowboys game. And we all know that the Buccaneers struggle in prime time, as we've seen in the past. So, and looking at the schedule, the Buccaneers coming off of 4 straight wins, most of us were thinking they could have a chance to win 6 of 7 to get to 10 wins, and that's still on the table. The only problem is now it's got to be necessary. It's going to be a necessary thing where the Buccaneers have to beat Carolina and New Orleans at home and hope that the Falcons lose a game in their final one of their final 2 games against either Washington or the Carolina Panthers. So it's going to be interesting because now the Falcons, they won their game against the Giants, as they rightfully should, and the Buccaneers had a chance to stay a game ahead but couldn't do it, as they lost to the Cowboys. But you just lose that control of the NFC South now, and now you need the Falcons to help you out, and the Buccaneers still have to take care of business. And you look at the final 2 games for Atlanta, Washington, most likely, I think that's going to be a game that favors Washington. I think they're going to want to win that game and obviously get a clinched playoff spot, to get to move to 11 wins. And I think Washington has a lot to play for, and they just came off a big win over the Eagles, comeback win. So we'll see. I mean, Washington should be able to take care of it. They are the better team. But we know how things go in the NFL. It's, pretty much any given Sunday. But with that said, I mean, just looking at this game once again, it was just disappointing that, offensively couldn't be more consistent, had too many empty drives, too many negative plays, too many errors by the offense. And then defensively, it was much better, obviously, in the second half. They did a good job of shutting down the run game of Dallas and, not letting them control the ball in the second half. Um, and I think that points to the Cowboys having the lead, and they were just really protecting that lead, trying to not make any mistakes, which they did. So you have to credit them for that, limiting their mistakes and just running the football, using clock, and relying on their defense. And obviously that paid off because the Buccaneers just couldn't put things together consistently throughout this game. And that was unfortunate. But I mean, Bucs still have an opportunity here in the NFC South to make the playoffs. I think that's their best bet, with these upcoming games, and it's going to be tough. NFC South, they always play very close games, and I guarantee you, this game against Carolina and even New Orleans, it's going to be close. New Orleans, I believe, is 5-1 over their last 6 trips in Raymond James Stadium, so that's kind of scary. Carolina has been playing much better football, and they probably should have beat us earlier. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna not gonna be easy for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make the postseason now. A little bit tougher, but given the Bucs history, I think a lot of Bucs fans know this is how the Bucs usually do things. They go for the harder quest, if you say. So it should be interesting. Let us know what you guys think. Appreciate all the support. Be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts. Will the Buccaneers make the playoffs? Let us know what you guys think. And with that said, until the next one.